this will break your heart. I'm never gonna hold you back.
Good morning,
Always
beautiful
gonna have
people.
your back. So
Happy Thursday, November 26th. Ooh, does that mean we're a week away from Thanksgiving? Hope everyone's doing well today. We have a reading that starts out with a quote from Lao Tzu. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. In the days when addiction was running our lives, we never got what we wanted from life. We always wanted something more, something different, something better. A newer car, more money, a better job. Yet our addiction was working the whole time to take these things away from us. Now we have not what we want, but what we need. Full awareness of the present moment. This moment is all there is to life. God has given us the present. The past is what we've created from our moments, and it's gone. Only God's present endures. If we do not have the present, we are not really alive, and all the cars, money, and plush jobs in the world couldn't breathe life into us. Since we already have all we really need, we can begin to find serenity by being grateful to our higher power for this. When we are truly thankful for this moment, we will have no desire for more, and we can experience peace. Today, let me live each moment gratefully aware of all that I have. That's pretty deep, I guess, right? Like, we might want the fancy things when we have our attitude on. But then once we get some clarity and we get further away from the bet, the drink, the whatever, the less we want the things, right? I think the most common story that I hear in the recovery world from gambling addicts is, their mind was always betting, even if they weren't at the bet. Like I've spoke to you about how I was always thinking about how to get to the casino or how to manipulate the husband to go or all those things. So even if I had a really good job, I wasn't paying attention to it. I was thinking about gambling. A car was just a tool to get to gamble. So that's never really been important to me. The more money might have been part of the cycle too, right? Like I needed more money to go bet. But then once we stop betting, a couple things happen. And I don't believe it's about the money, but money is one of the quickest things to come back. We're not worried about it to go lose it. So in time, it'll come for the material things. But this being present piece where we can walk through a park, maybe with your kids or maybe with your loved one, and you're walking through the park or maybe by yourself, and you can actually look around and see the swing set and see the water and whatever else. There's water in my park, sorry. You can see the birds and hear them chirping and kind of just take it all in and be present, where when we're gambling, a walk through the park is like, what am I doing here? Or our brain is racing on either the lies or the chaos or the how to fix it or how to get there. So we're never really present. So I think that's why it starts off with, we're not desiring the chase, the bet, the material things, the better job, that stuff. So we are at peace because we can recognize what's happening around us every day. And of course, the gratitude piece, right? There's so much peace in being grateful for all those things, those simple things, kind of like how we talked about earlier this week with happiness being simple. Or maybe it was last week. I don't know. I can't keep track sometimes. But being in the present, it's so funny how things come full circle. I know I've already alluded to Patrick's interview and this concept, and like I said, he explains it much more beautifully than I do. So I'll just stick to the facts. Like when the stress is gone, we can refocus our energy because we're going to still have energy, right? So when the stress of the action and the manipulation goes away. We can just live for today. Like the whole one day at a time thing. You don't need the material things, the car, the flashy things, just for today. If you're just being you today, I know they still appeal to people, and I'm not judging. It's just that when you're on the brink of insanity, death, or jail, right? Like the GA literature says, having any car seems suitable, right? If you don't end up dead or in jail or in a mental institution. I mean, we can appreciate the things we have. I know I felt that way when I got out of treatment. I had to shower on someone else's schedule. I had to eat on someone else's schedule. I had to do everything. All my freedoms, liberties like that were taken away. Now it happens when we're in addiction too, but to illustrate the point, when I got out of treatment and to have that freedom back again, it wasn't as important to go bed. It was more important that I could live my life independently, like how I like to, and be able to go and do and feel what I want to feel at any moment, instead of being told when I have to meditate and when I have to go to bed and, all the things, and sharing a TV with a whole bunch of boys. Oh my God. You want to talk about, I think that's probably the closest thing. No, I was going to be super fresh. Luckily TV wasn't that important to me. Otherwise it might've been a pain, but you get a bunch of boys with only one remote control. And by boys, I mean grown men. It gets a little challenging. Anyway, so that would have been something else I was grateful for, right? Coming home to my own TV and getting to watch what I wanted to watch. It sounds really simple, but gambling robs us of all those things. And I'm not saying watching TV should be important. I'm not an advocate for it. I mean, yeah, it's cool once in a while, but I think that it's a time sucker. And I find myself even in that trap now. Like this last week, I discovered the Hunger Game movies for when I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night. So here I am trying to put myself to sleep, but the movies are actually keeping me stimulated and interested. So I haven't been sleeping that good. Anyway, fun point, right? Since we already have all we really need, now this is the recovery voice, we can begin to find serenity by being grateful to our higher power for this. When we are truly thankful in this moment, we'll have no desire for more, and we can experience peace. And that's the goal, I think, for all of us, right? Having that peace, having presence of mind or mindfulness around all that we really do have, and not looking for the next best thing. I get really concerned when I see people that they might have time away from a bet, but they still want the latest and greatest. And as an outsider looking in, what I see is, and I don't understand this, there's a lot of complication around money and how people feel around money, but I almost wonder if chasing the next latest and greatest is just a substitution for gambling. And it's not my call to say. I don't know the answer. It's very easy, I think, to transition from one thing that consumes us to another. And I've heard everything from, I've gambled to try to find money to pay my bills or to get the better thing, or, gambling to numb, which we talk about all the time, and gambling to isolate. But there's something just weird about the dynamic with this addiction because of the money element. And because of, if we were using gambling to cope for insecurity, say, maybe because we didn't feel as good as, and if we haven't gotten to that point in our recovery where we have those aha moments where we recognize that we are worth it and that we are as good as, and that the things don't make us important or worth it. It's the the people we are and choose to be. It's how good of a parent we are, or a brother or sister or friend. That's really where the value comes in. So if we don't figure that out, I wonder if the material things are just a way to, like, just another coping mechanism or another way of being in action, chasing those things, or another way to help us feel better because people go, oh, nice car, nice house, nice this, nice that. Like my neighbor not too long ago, she was really stressed. Her mom was sick. She runs to the train station, ends up hitting a pole and denting this car. And she's really upset about the car. And I'm like, it's a dent. It's a car. It's like totally fixable. Like I get it. Nobody wants, an ugly car per se. But in the grand scheme of things, the focus and attention should be more on her mother, and she felt not more on her mother, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not minimalizing her feelings. I understand because my car is new, but only because, because I needed, to me, a new car represents security for me. And knowing that I don't need a new car, I'll keep this one for probably a really long time. So anyway, because it's new, it has these weird, I don't want to say dents, but the way new cars are, the shapes are ugly and weird, in my opinion. But the way that the light hits them sometimes, it looks like it's dented. And there's been many times I walk up to it and I'm like, oh, geez, like somebody hit my car. And it's funny because it got me good the other day. I really thought that there was a dent. And I thought of this story of my neighbor and how I told her it's only a car. It's not that important. And I just reminded myself of that. And it's like, yeah, I could totally relate to how she was feeling. And then I was like, it's just a car, So that's the change of mindset. That's the piece, right? Like, would a dent in my car ruin my day? I don't think it would ruin my day today. But I do think, I would think about it and maybe be upset for a minute. Not enough to really freak out. I get actually more upset about the inconvenience things like having to call an insurance agent and things that take away from my time of getting to do the fun things I like to do and the things I enjoy doing. So that's actually where my struggle lies. At any rate, guys, that's the deal today. I hope that you're on your path and your way to having peace and serenity. I hope that you're moving away further and further away from a bet and that you get to enjoy everything in this moment right now. And I hope that you express gratitude and have gratitude for all the little things because it really can keep you pretty charged up and pretty happy. So those are some pretty good nuggets this morning. I'm going to jump off here and go have my call with my counselor. I asked yesterday on social, and I'm going to continue to ask periodically, but if you can help me by leaving a review or a rating, if you've enjoyed the content, if you find any value in our conversations every day, that would be really helpful to me. All right, beautiful people, have a fabulous Thursday, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And